Well, it's time to make a start on the restoration of this lovely Bing Wolf steam engine that Charlie Miller very kindly donated to my channel. Now, before I do any restoration work, the very first job I'm going to do on this engine is I'm going to attempt to make a replacement cylinder cover end cap which goes on here. And then once I've done that, I will attempt to run the engine on air. Now, I'll turn it round and I'll explain why that's important. So now we're looking at the end of the engine. I'm going to zoom in on the cylinder. There you go. Now I think you can quite clearly see this is the cylinder here. This is just a cover that goes around it. And there is a tapped hole which goes into the end of the cylinder. Now that hole, let's make sure we've got the piston at the far end of the stroke. That hole goes all the way in to the cylinder. So if you haven't got a screw in here, then obviously the steam or air will simply pour out of this hole. So it's very important that that hole is blocked up. So the first thing I want to do, as I said, is make the cover, the end cap cover that holds this all in place and, you know, and also blocks off the end of the cylinder. So let's get on and do that. Well, you saw me make it. Very simple bit of lathe work. Used a bit of scrap brass from my scrap brass box, and there you go. There it is fitted. Now, I have made this slightly thicker. I would imagine the original one would have been similar to the front cap for this, but I wanted it to be a little bit thicker. It just gives it more support. But it does show us something that's interesting. As you can see, we have this gap here between the front cylinder cover and the actual extension to the front of the cylinder mount. So I don't know whether or not there was something else in there at one point. Maybe there was. I don't know. Maybe there's something missing. But when I first put it together, and I thought, oh, you know, obviously then I've made this too thick and it's sticking out this way, and therefore it's not pushing the cover up that way enough. But that's not the case. I'll show you why. I don't know how well you can see this, but the cylinder cover end cap is not actually touching the back of the valve block. It's tight against the back of the cylinder, but it's not touching the end of the valve block there. So therefore that's as far forward as it can possibly go. So I don't know. When I strip it all down, I'll have a look at it, but I'm fairly certain that the cylinder is soldered to the valve block, so you can't move it. So I don't know. Maybe there is another piece missing which should go in the front there. But anyway, let's see if it will run on air. Well, I've just run it, and the first thing that happened was the little belt that drives the dummy governor broke, which is not surprising. It was all stretched badly anyway, so I wanted to put a new one of those on. But yeah, it runs fine. That's about 10 psi. No problem at all. We increase the pressure a bit. About 15 psi. That's 8 psi. Now runs the treat. No problem at all. Okay, well, now it's time to start taking it apart after we've done that and see what we can see.